Hi there Star Wars collectors, welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video and welcome to my review of the Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch carbonized Boba Fett action figure. And as you can see, he is there sitting quite proudly in his box there, which is all very green and shiny. And standing right next to him is the original 6-inch Boba Fett, or essentially it's not the original one because this is actually the one from the archive line. But we're going to open this guy and we are going to compare the two. But I just want to give you my thoughts overall about the carbonized figures. To me, they're not really something that I really want to collect. I don't know what to think about them. I think part of me thinks that it's just a way of selling you the same figure, but all glittered up in a nice box. And of course, inbox collectors are all over this sort of thing because they want that different kind of box. Myself, I don't really collect the Black Series in box. I tend to open the ones that I buy. You'll probably know that I'm more of a 3.75 inch collector anyway, but I do collect the odd 6-inch figure that I do like the look of. And as this one's being Boba Fett, I did have to get this one. Essentially, I wanted to check it out, see what it's all about, but this is the only carbonized figure that I do own. But yeah, as I mentioned, for inbox collectors, I can imagine that they're all over this sort of thing. As I said, it's just not really for me. Look at the side of the box there, it is ultra glittery. There's no number on the side because it is the carbonized line. We've got Boba Fett on the side of the box there. Nice big image of Boba Fett on the back there, as you can see, and a little bit of a write-up about him. But yeah, as I say, keeping these in the box, I can understand why people would want to collect them. Me personally, I think it's just a way of making you buy another figure personally. But as I said, this is the only one I've got because it is Boba Fett, and I wanted to give you a bit of comparison against this guy. So we're going to open him up right now. But in terms of the packaging, mine came from Star Action Figures, and I was a little bit disappointed with the overall condition of it. If I was an inbox collector, I do apologise about the glare there. When it's so shiny, this box is impossible not to have that glare. But there is a bit of a sort of crease there on the box, so if I was an inbox collector, I would be a little bit disappointed about that. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter to me because I am going to be opening it, but I have been on social media and have seen quite a few other people have this crease there, so it's probably not a thing for Star Action Figures to worry about. It's more about the, you know, it probably happened in the factory at some point. But anyway, let's get the figure out of the packaging right now and we'll compare him against the other Boba Fett. This is what it looks like when it's outside of the packaging, and as you can see, he is there in his tray with his accessories, and he's on like a yellow background there, which is quite nice actually. It's like a Bossk yellow, I quite like that. Okay then, so there's the figure outside of the packaging and in pretty much a similar pose to the other figure that I've got there, so we can have a good look at the comparisons. But ultimately I've got to say that this one, the original one, is just a better figure all round. The one thing that really disappoints me about this particular one is the material that they've used for the cape. It's hard to describe, but it's quite a sort of plasticky material, rather this one's much more cloth-like, and therefore it just hangs a lot better on the shoulder of Boba Fett there. This one's also very tatty. You can see there that I've got some very loose threads hanging down. It's all very tatty around the edges of there, whereas this one's actually cut quite nice. I understand that Boba Fett would probably have had quite a tatty cape as it is, but not quite like that. I would imagine it would have had like holes in it and like burn marks and things like that, not just loose threads at the end. So that was a little bit disappointing. Of course, you can use a pair of scissors just to tidy it up and whatever, but you know, I think these carbonized figures are really there for the inbox collectors because just looking at the two figures side by side, this one is a far superior figures. The colors pop much nicer on this figure as opposed to this one. They're all shiny and it's just a little bit weird really. But we're going to take a closer look at the figure now in detail, right up against the camera so you can see it in more detail for yourselves. Okay then, so there you can see him a bit closer up and you can really see the light shining off his armor there. Obviously they've used really sort of reflective paints with the whole carbonized look, and if we go down the figure you can see the legs are really super silver in color, and obviously we've got that metallic green on his armor, which, comparing it to the original figure, I just much prefer the original version and how that paint apps have been applied. You can see the back of there again, the metallic green has been used on the rocket pack on the back there, and as you can see this one is a lot more duller green. Again, I do prefer that one. But really what comes into this for me is the helmet itself. If you look at the two helmets, because this one isn't metallic, it just has a lot more detail where there is metallic. So those silver bits there, the damage and everything on his helmet, they stand out a lot more than this one, because obviously the whole helmet is metallicized, if that is a word. It probably isn't, but you understand what I'm saying. It's been put in like metallic paint, and therefore the details don't really show up as much, in my opinion. The weapon also has been carbonized. You can see the handle there has some shine to it, and obviously the markings on the stock of the rifle there do have some shine to them as well. The belt is like a gold, whereas this one's brown. So I'm not really sure why particularly you would want this figure like this on display. I would much prefer to have it screen accurate on display, but as I mentioned before, I can understand why people would want to keep them in box, because in box collectors, to have a different style box to your standard black and red boxes, obviously the Black series are changing that up now from next month with the release of the Rebels characters and etc. in those new boxes, which is going to bring on a whole new meaning to inbox collecting, in my opinion. They might get me on that. I might have to get a few of those, but his little pistol here again is in like a metallic paint as well. Now, I'm not going to go through the articulation on this figure at all with you, because obviously it is the same sculpt and mold as the previous Boba Fett, and you've probably seen loads of reviews telling you all about that. But I just want to mention a few things that I did notice, and that was the head was really stiff to swivel, really stiff, goes up and down nicely, but to move it around is a bit of a job, I've got to say. Whereas opposed to the legs are really loose. Those joints there are looser than they should be, I do believe. But that's just a thing that I noticed when getting them out of the packet. So there you go then, guys. That is the carbonized Fett. To summarise, I would say that if you're an inbox collector, as I've mentioned, you'll probably like this figure and you'll get this figure, and it'll go very nicely with all your other carbonized figures. If you're an out of box collector, I really don't see why you would want anything other than the original one, which looks much better in my opinion, and obviously is more screen accurate. So I'll leave you on that thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know that if you are a inbox collector, are you going to be picking these guys up? And also, if you are a loose collector, will you be picking this guy to have on your shelf next to this guy? Let me know in the comments below, but thank you very much for watching. Drop a like if you have enjoyed this video, and we shall see you on the next one.